friends, what's up YouTube? So I am back and I honestly do not know what this video is going to entail. I figured I would just pull out my camera and vlog. I tend to put a lot of pressure on myself to like have an exact idea of what I'm going to do for a video. I like to always have it like laid out, and I always feel like it has to have like a precise and exact purpose and like layout. But I honestly, at the end of the day, think that I probably overthink it and you guys probably don't care if it's perfectly laid out. So I'm just gonna start this video. We'll see where it goes. It'll probably be kind of like a vlog. It is currently the day after Thanksgiving. So I'm at my mom's house right now. I'm actually dog sitting. She has 4 dogs. So she gets back tomorrow. I spent yesterday with my dad and his family. And then I drove to my mom's today to dog sit for the night until she gets back tomorrow. So I may show you guys, I'm getting ready to make some food. So I got here, I basically just ran to the store, got some basics. She's like, oh, you can eat any of the food we have in the fridge in the pantry. And I get here and there's like nothing. So I had to go to the store. I had to grab just a few basics since I'll only be here for tomorrow until tomorrow. But I also in this vlog kind of want to chat a little bit about just post-holidays, dealing with the holidays in general, because I know it can be a stressful time for a lot of people. So I kind of want to just chat about it and, you know, a little story time too about my past and kind of open up about something that happened to me a couple Thanksgivings ago that I want to share. So yeah. Stay tuned for more. Like I said, don't really know where this video is gonna go, but hopefully you'll enjoy it, and I will see you guys in the next clip. Okay, just showing you guys a little snacky snack. So I told you I went to the store. I grabbed just some rice cakes because I do eat these pretty frequently, but what I just made here is a little protein like pudding dip. This is just a really easy way to get in your protein. So obviously I told you guys I'm at my mom's, so I don't have like a ton of, I didn't go and like do a full-on grocery haul, but I didn't like prep any, you know, chicken or anything like that. So I don't have a ton of options. So I made some of my protein pudding, which is essentially just protein powder with water mixed until it forms this paste, and then you can honestly eat it plain. I'm definitely guilty of doing so, or you can dip some rice cakes in it just as like a little spread. So that is what I wanted to show you guys. I also wanted to show you guys something else too. So I did get some dried apricots at the store because I showed you guys these in my last video and told you guys I've been loving dried fruit just as a really easy way to get in some carbs without feeling like overly bloated. Dried fruit, you know, I think, you know, like, let me think. Like, I think it's like 6 or 7 of, I think it's 7 of these are around like 25 grams of carbs. So in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot, and it's not going to be very filling. But when your carbs are higher, it is really smart to fill, you know, some of your carbs with foods that aren't going to make you feel overly bloated, right? Because at the end of the day, if you're filling all of your carbs, if they are high, of course, you know, with things like rice cakes and veggies, you're going to be really full and bloated and have a hard time hitting your carbs. But I did get a question about dried fruit and is it good for you because it has a lot of sugar? And guys, at the end of the day, it has mainly, it's not going to be like all artificial sugar. It's a lot of natural sugar, but you guys have to remember that sugar isn't inherently what makes you gain weight. A lot of people think sugar makes you fat, sugar makes you gain weight, but think of the foods out there that have a lot of sugar. A lot of the higher sugary foods are also very high in fat, you know, think cookies, cake, and they're also very hyper palatable. They're going to make you want more of it, right? Those foods, you have one cookie and you want more, you instantly want more. So people associate sugary foods with making you gain fat, but it's not sugar that's inherently making you gain weight, right? It's, you know, the fact that those foods that have a lot of sugar tend to also have a lot of fat, and those foods with a lot of sugar tend to be very addicting and making you want to go back for more and more. So moral of the story, dried fruit is not bad, nor is fruit. You know, especially regular fresh fruit, all has natural sugar. You know, dried fruit may have a little bit of artificial sugar in it, but for the most part, guys, everything in moderation. It's not a bad option. So, end of little mini rant, but I wanted to show you guys this little easy, quick snack that, you know, you can make if you're traveling or just even at home. Okay, quick little dinner, or I guess, yeah, late dinner, last meal of the day update. So, I told you guys I'm at my mom's house, so my meals are kind of strange. I mean, honestly, this isn't that strange, but I needed some veggies, so I have some spinach that I steamed up a little bit. I have some eggs, hard-boiled eggs, and then I'm gonna actually put some salsa on top of this. Salsa is a really good like option for just like kind of a salad dressing type of deal. If you don't want to use salad dressing, my mom has dressing in the fridge, but let's be honest, it's just like regular like dressing, and I don't really want that. So and I don't like to use my macros on like those dressings, even though my macros are high. So I'm gonna use some salsa. And then I had some of these, so I scoped out her pantry earlier. She's like, yeah, you can have anything. And I told you guys earlier, she didn't have a ton, but these did stick out to me. These Popcorners chips, these are the white cheddar ones, and these are actually really good. So here's what we're working with for serving. Not too bad for 16-ish chips, 28 grams, 6 fat, 17 carb, 2 protein. Probably not something I'd eat in prep just because I feel like, you know, these don't fill me up that much. But when carbs are higher, when macros are overall higher, I do, you know, I can fit these things in once in a while if I want. And like I said, I'm at mom's, so we're not working with the most glamorous food today. But this is the kind of the last meal rundown. I'm gonna put some salsa on this, sit back, watch some Elf. Yes, I am watching a Christmas movie, and then I am going to call it a night. What's up, friends? So I am back in my kitchen at my place. I think the last clip I filmed, I was at my mom's. It is now 2 days later, but I wanted to carry on this video. And I'm gonna show you guys real quickly one of my like staple meals that I've been making lately, or just like staple little things that I've been making recently, and it's my pumpkin Greek yogurt oats. It's very simple, but I always get lots of questions about like how I make it, when do I add the pumpkin, when do I add the Greek yogurt, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just gonna take you guys through a little quick step-by-step tutorial, and then as promised earlier on in this video, I have a little story time for you guys about Thanksgiving and just some past things I want to open up and share with you guys that I think may help with or may help some of you guys out there. So stay tuned, because the next couple of clips I'm gonna give you guys the rundown on my infamous pumpkin pie oats. Okay, so I am showing you guys my go-to, or my recent go-to oat bowl lately. So what I did is I just added oatmeal in here. I cooked it in the microwave, probably added maybe a little bit too much water. It's not as thick as I would like, but that is okay. I'm gonna add in the mix-ins. And you guys, if you've followed me on this channel for some time, you know I love my oatmeal, and I make oat bowls in just about every like food related YouTube video, but I do change it up often. So meaning I will change like what I mix into my oats, and I'll kind of like change up the variations. So recently, you know, with it being fall, I've been loving pumpkin oats. So I like to add Greek yogurt and pumpkin, and then I'll add usually pumpkin pie spice, cinnamon, and then top it with like fruit, usually air fried apples. So I'm gonna show you guys just how I do that and what it looks like with the finished product. Okay, so I have to show you guys this yogurt I found at the store. So I mainly got it because it was BOGO, buy one, get one free at Publix this week. But it's the Chobani Zero Sugar Vanilla. And honestly, it has very similar macros to Too Good yogurt, as you can see. I usually get the Dannon Too Good, but I got this one, very similar macros. Only 6 carbs, 13 protein per serving. And I have to tell you guys, if I had to choose between this and Too Good, I would say this one, flavor-wise, is a lot better. It just has a little bit more like kick to it. It's not as bland, if that makes sense. So I really love it. So I'm gonna add this to my oats. A serving is 3/4 cup or 170 grams. So typically I'll add either a half a serving, or you can even add a whole serving if you would like. So I'm gonna add a half a serving just because I'm also adding pumpkin. But I cook my oats first, and then I'm gonna zero my scale out and then measure this out and then add it straight into the oats. Okay, so here we go, friends. So I know this probably looks disgusting because I definitely added a little too much water into the oatmeal, but that's okay. So I cooked the oats, I added the Greek yogurt in, and then I also added pumpkin, just regular like pure pumpkin that you find in the baking aisle. I used a half a serving of that. Again, there's like really no right or wrong amounts that you could add to this of the pumpkin and the Greek yogurt. I would just say like probably a half a serving minimum to get the best consistency. So now I am going to stir this bad boy up, and I'll show you the consistency afterwards. Okay, so here it is all mixed together. As you can see, the pumpkin and the Greek yogurt mix right into it. I'm kind of sad because, like I said, I added too much water into the oats to begin with, so it's not as thick as I want. I mean, it's not super watery. As you can tell, it's kind of thick, but obviously if you would want it a little bit thicker, just cook your oats with a little bit less water. But otherwise, this is what it looks like, and usually I will top it with, you know, air fried apples, but you can honestly top it with anything. But this has been my go-to like oat bowl base recently, and I've been loving it. It just, oh, it's so good. It adds the pumpkin and the yogurt adds some flavor to the oats, and then I add cinnamon or pumpkin pie spice, and it is just so, so delicious. Okay, so as promised, I wanted to do a little chit chat story time to kind of wrap up this video. So I am not like gonna talk about this Thanksgiving because this Thanksgiving was honestly really great, really awesome, but with Thanksgiving having been a couple days ago, it got me thinking about something I wanted to share with you guys that happened on Thanksgiving. I guess it was in probably 2018, so what is that, 3-ish years ago? And I want to just kind of open up and talk to you guys a little bit about like something I used to struggle a lot with in the past, because I really don't think I've shared it. I know I haven't shared it on YouTube. I may have kind of shared it a couple times, you know, on Instagram, not this specific episode, but I'm going to talk about it here in a sec. So 3 years ago on Thanksgiving, or I guess 4 years ago, 2018, I guess that's 3 years ago, right? I don't know. I feel like it's been longer than that, but whatever. I can't think straight apparently, but that is the last time I truthfully had a full out just like binging episode. So to kind of go back and set the scene, when I was in high school, I struggled a lot with like restricting throughout the day, and then I would just kind of lose control at night. And, you know, I refrain from saying binging because I know that, you know, some people do truly struggle from binge eating disorder, and I don't feel like I was never diagnosed with that. But I definitely, it was more than like overeating. It was definitely at night, it was like snacky things I would go ham on. I would usually restrict a lot throughout the day, just not eat a lot throughout the day, which part of it had to do with the fact that like I was eating so much at night, I would wake up and I really wouldn't be hungry until like 5 p.m. Right? So I struggled with that a lot throughout high school. Not all 4 years, but like later on in high school, I struggled with that a lot. Now, what kind of kicked the habit, truth be told, which is, it's going to sound silly, is I went to college and I, you know, lived in a dorm room, and I lived with 2 other girls, you know, with me at all times. And I remember thinking to myself, Lexi, you can't be, you know, overeating. Like, you can't be eating a family-sized bag of chips in one sitting with other people around you watching. Like, that would be embarrassing, right? So that's kind of what kicked the habit for me. And once I moved away to college and I stopped, you know, with my overeating episodes or binging episodes at night, you know, I truly felt how good I felt. Like I was feeling good. I wasn't waking up every morning feeling bloated and just feeling gross. So ultimately that kind of led me to get rid of the habit. Now, that's not to say that I don't still have tendencies every once in a while that I feel kind of creep back into my head. And I've learned to really identify like those triggers, those tendencies, and what to do to kind of like get away from, you know, falling back down that trap. But the last true like overeating / binging episode that I truly had was on Thanksgiving of my freshman year of college. So I moved away. I lived in my dorm, and then I came home for Thanksgiving, and I remember I had to work Black Friday at like 5 a.m. the next morning. So we were having Thanksgiving at, I believe it was my aunt's house. So my family was actually just staying the night there because they lived about like 40 minutes away, but I ended up coming home that night just because I had to work Black Friday at like 5 a.m. So I remember enjoying the Thanksgiving meal, coming home and having the house to myself, and that was truly the first time I'd had like alone time or the house to myself, you know, since moving away to college. And I remember just going crazy with all the food in the pantry. There was so much food that I hadn't had in so long because I had lived in a dorm. You know, my family, I think they had like peanut M&Ms. I remember that being one of the things that was in there, like not just the bag, like the jumbo, like Ziploc one. I don't know what size they're, maybe they're gallon size, but I remember there were peanut M&Ms in there. There were also like the Nutter Butter cookies, just a bunch of stuff that I hadn't like eaten in so long, right? I remember just going ham. Like, it was the first time I had been alone in a house for so long, and you know, I also, that kind of being in that same atmosphere where I had, you know, formerly had that issue was a bit of a trigger too, being in that same house. But I remember just going crazy, and it was honestly a scary moment for me, because I remember, like, even though this happened 3-4 years ago, I remember sitting there and just feeling so out of control, and I was like, I just can't stop. Like, this is crazy. Eventually, I mean, I did stop and went to bed. I had to wake up the next morning and work Black Friday, and I remember just feeling like, not only mentally feeling guilty, but feeling internally inside, just feeling so bloated, so gross. And it really took me a couple days to like get back to feeling normal inside again. But that was the last time I've truly kind of like had an episode like that. Of course, I've had times, you know, now where I will overeat a little bit here and there, but it's truly never gotten to the point where like I've lost control, because I remember just not feeling like myself in the moment back when that happened. And you know, I kind of thought about this and wanted to share it, given that Thanksgiving was a couple days ago, and I mean, this is a holiday that happened to me last on. But you know, I do still have sometimes some tendencies where I'm like, ooh, like I kind of, you know, like I'll see something, like, for example, I was at my mom's, you know, like you guys saw earlier in this video, and being there alone, you know, sometimes that can be a trigger, being somewhere alone, like in my family's house where there's a ton of food present that I wouldn't normally choose. Like, sometimes that just brings me back to that old thought process, that old pattern. But I've really learned to kind of, you know, ways to kind of negate that. But I ultimately just wanted to come on and like share that experience, because I definitely have not talked about that before on YouTube. I don't even think I've talked about that openly on Instagram before, because that's not like something that's like fun to talk about. It's not something I want to brag about, but I want to be raw. I want to be real with you guys. I want to show you guys that I'm human too, and I am nowhere near perfect. And do I regret like that occurrence that happened 3-4 years ago on Thanksgiving? And do I regret like having gone through a time where I struggled a lot with like binging? Absolutely not, because here's why. It has ultimately brought me to where I am today, and I know that sounds cliche, but it really does allow me to resonate and understand where like my clients are coming from if they experience the same issues. So I definitely don't regret going through that period of time. It taught me a lot about myself, but wanted to share that with you guys, because again, I wanted to just, you know, share that I'm human too, and hopefully, you know, some of you guys out there who may have struggled with something like that in the past can kind of resonate and know that you're not alone. But I'm gonna wrap up this video here before it becomes like way too long. I hope you guys enjoyed this little story time. Please like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and share this video if you did enjoy it. And if you have made it this far in the video, you are the real MVP. Thank you. So I will see you guys in the next video, and thanks for watching.